we got Alex Campbell says, will RJ Barrett be a star in the NBA? I'm not convinced he'll be a star. Um, when I see him, one of the people that comes to mind when I see him is Tyreek Evans.
Hmm.
Um, and so, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely in the not sure category. And the reason is, well, first of all, he's young, right? And at his age, we can't, it's he can go either way, obviously. What concerns me, there's a few things. Not a great three-point shooter. Doesn't appear to have a broken form, so that could easily improve. Not a great ball handler.
Mm-hmm.
Not only finishes with his left hand. And while he's a plus athlete, I don't think he's an elite athlete.
No, he's not a freak.
Right. Doesn't have extreme burst. So now we start to get into the category of what is it you do really well? Because in the college game, he's getting a lot of rebounds that aren't going to pan out when he's playing against bigger people. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of inside baskets that aren't going to pan out when he's playing against bigger people. And the free throw shooting is extremely alarming.
Mm-hmm.
So, all those negatives said, what I also see in RJ is he appears to be hungry. He appears to love the game,
Mm-hmm.
and he appears to be a guy who takes to coaching
Mm-hmm.
and is willing to learn. So he could easily be a guy that comes back with a bunch of tools, after every summer,
Mm-hmm.
and could turn from a guy who's looking a little more like a Tyreek Evans
Mm-hmm.
to a guy who's looking more like a Paul Pierce, Paul George type of guy. So, you know, I that's why it's I don't know, because it really depends on how much he wants to develop. He has the physical tools to be an NBA star. He has the mentality to be an NBA star, but right now he doesn't have the skills of a sure thing. I think Ja and Zion are sure things relative to, their skill set. Whereas RJ Barrett's skill set, I think, is more of a Paul Pierce, CJ McCollum skill set. And we need to see him get a lot better at that before he fulfills that potential.
Yeah, I definitely don't see the Paul George thing because I don't think he's long enough, and I don't think he's athletic enough, and I think that's two of the really, really big qualities that Paul George brings is the length and the athleticism, and that's something that RJ doesn't have.
It's more
Uh,
Paul George's creativity.
okay, I definitely see more Paul Pierce than I see Paul George for him. I think that's a better person for him to look at. But what will help him quite a bit is um if he becomes a better shooter. That's big for him because the fact that he's not a great shooter makes makes the fact that he's not a freak that much more potentially detrimental. You know what I mean? Because so that's the thing that worries me a little bit about him. But he is a killer, and that's what I like. He's a straight killer. He wants to be great. He's the son of a professional player. He's been linked with pro players his entire life. His godfather is Steve Nash. So he's around. He's been around ballers and killers like his whole basically his whole life. So I think that definitely bodes well for him in his future and his overall ceiling and his his ability to add different facets to his game and just overall just to get better. But I'm not convinced that he's a star.